up guys, we're back in the garage and today we're doing skid plates on my Can-Am X3. The OEM ones have been long overdue for a replacement and I'll show you guys that right now. So these are the OEM 3/8 skid plates that came on my machine. The XRS comes with 3/8. I believe the XDS comes with a thinner skid plate, but what's really nice is that Can-Am offers a full cover skid plate for the whole machine versus some of the other brands don't offer that. With that being said, these aren't perfect and they leave a lot to be desired. As you can see, they have cracked and broken right here in this area here, and towards the back of the skid plate it's pretty worn down, as you can see there. My main concern was this over here. The frame was exposed, so normally there's a strip here just like this top one, a strip that goes along and bolts on to the frame, and yeah, the frame was exposed and that was worrying me a little bit. So if I hit something, it might cause some frame damage. So hey, these are great. Can-Am offers them full coverage, but we got some way better ones. So SSS Off-Road offers these full skid plates in 3/8 for the Can-Am X3, and they have a bunch of features that I like versus some of the other brands, and well, let's get into it. So these skid plates are made with some pretty high precision. I really like the way they are formed and fitted, and it has a lot of features built in. For example, these side skids, these are not separate pieces, these are one piece. They are cut and bent and they look really nice. So I'm excited for that because I've had lots of issues with scraping the sides of the Can-Am X3, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have had that issue where you bang this area towards the back on the passenger or driver door, and it happens, and these are going to help with the damage. Another thing I like about these skid plates is they do offer side protection for the clutch housing. Some of the other brands that I've installed did not have this, so the plate was straight just like it is on this passenger side, and it did not have any coverage for the housing. Now this is a lot better, offers you coverage, which is very nice. The OEM plate does have it, and I don't know why some of the other companies decided to take that out. Speaking of protecting the back corner, what I found unique about these SSS Off-Road skid plates is this extension here that goes along and follows the fender of the Can-Am X3, or quarter panel I should say. Most of the other brands don't have that either, and it's nice to have that extra little section to make sure it's protected. So when I say these skid plates are precision fit, they really are. They are CNC cut, as you can see here by the tooling marks, and they slide into place and lock into place with the other skids. And you can see how the front skid plate fits in that spot right there perfectly. You also got the SSS Off-Road logo at the very front, or center front skid plate. And on this Max, when it comes to the other three skid plates, they do overlap just like the OEM skid plates do. So let me show you what tools you're gonna need and how I drilled out the rivets. So besides the skid plates, in the box comes many washers as well as many bolts, most of them being in the 3/4 length and 4 of them being in 1 inch length. These are all 1/4 by 20 thread, and you're gonna need a 1/4 by 20 tap in order to tap the threads into the frame. Before you do that, you're gonna have to drill out the rivets with a 3/16 drill bit, and I like to use a right angle drill. Now they do give you instructions, as well as they have a YouTube video on how to do it. Now on their YouTube video, I don't remember them mentioning rivets. You're gonna need 6 rivets, at least on this X3 Max, for each side, so a total of 12 rivets and a rivet gun. So huge shout out to SSS Off-Road for making and designing a really cool skid. Now let's get to drilling out these rivets.
Yesterday.
All right, I'm gonna show you guys how to remove the skid plates off the Can-Am X3. I've already removed the 2 center sections on the Max. We're working on the tail shaft section, or the tail section. It's pretty simple. You're gonna get a drill, a 3/16 drill bit, and you're gonna drill the heads until they pop off. Sometimes if the drill bit, or excuse me, the rivet starts spinning, you can use a flathead screwdriver and pry between the skid plate and the frame to put force on the head of the rivet while you drill, and that should be able to pop it off as well. Once you drill the head off, sometimes pieces of the rivet will get stuck in the frame. What you will do is get a punch and a hammer, and you can hammer those into the frame and then try getting them out through some of the access holes. And don't forget your safety goggles, and just get to work, man. It's a painstaking process, especially if you're doing it on your back. If you have some sort of lift, that'd be so much better, but I don't want to take it all the way to work just to put it on the lift. So
God damn, this floor's fucking hot as shit.
yeah,
This floor's still hot as shit.
well, what do you want? I said, this is not an AC shop.
Well, it fucking looks all icy and blue, dog. Don't get confused, you know?
Let's see here. Here, give me that camera. Let me tell you guys something. Most of these rivets are already gone. Let me tell you, that one's gone, that one's gone, that one's gone, and those are ones that haven't drilled out. They've just been damaged. It's still holding on the clutch side over here. There's one, there's two. This one's loose, you can feel it. And in the back, these are all jacked up already, but they're still there. So
got rocks coming out of this one.
I know it's gonna be a good time to clean it. Anyways, let's drill this out. So. See, popped out the head, and now that's gonna be loose. So we got probably one more over there. Oh, there's one in the center here. Now these shavings are hot. Don't be under it because it'll burn you. And if it goes in your eyes, you're screwed.
Oh, you got your Milwaukee goggles on.
That's out. Ow, that's hot. Here comes another one. All right, here's the situation where the rivet is spinning in the frame. What we're gonna do is get a screwdriver in between the frame and the skid plate or a pry bar, and then we'll drill it. So CJ, can you grab me a pingazo? The largest of the largest. So he's gonna pry it right there in between, put pressure on the rivet head. That way when I drill it, it won't spin. And look at that, didn't need much. So we'll move on to this one back here. Oh, man down. All right, let go. Ah, there's a skid. This is a little bent too, but it's all right. See those? You gotta push those into the frame because you're not gonna be able to get them out through the same hole. There is some spaces where there's holes available. You can try fishing them out, or they're gonna be in there for the rest of their life, and it's not gonna be a big deal. Whatever. All right, dude. I think we're done. We got all the rivets out. We pushed them into the frame. It looks like the tubes in the back don't really have an access hole to stick a magnet in there, so they're gonna be living in there for the rest of their days. But the ones on the front, there is some access holes. I'll probably try to get rid of some of them. I don't want to hear too many rattles because I'm picky. Huh?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. But also, I'll clean up all the dirt. Once it's dried, I'm gonna have to touch up a lot of these spots with some paint. For example, right here, it's a little bit rusty, a little bit cracked. The paint's cracked. I'll probably have to grind that down a little bit, make sure it's not, you know, the actual metal is cracked. And then look at over here, the motor mount in the front definitely has looking ugly. So definitely right here, I want to grind it down, make sure nothing's wrong with it, and if there is a crack, address it now that we have the skid plate off. And then after it's welded up or whatever, if it is cracked, then I can touch it up with some paint. Same here. Just in little spots. I mean, it's not a big deal, but at the end of the day, if you want this car to last you for a very long time, you don't want the rust eating at the metal, because eventually that'll make it fail. So that's that. All right, guys, now that the skid plates are all removed and out of the way, now's the time to pressure wash the frame, inspect for any cracks, inspect for any rust spots that you might want to cover up with some paint, and repair whatever may be necessary. Now, I already went over my vehicle. I just touched up some paint on some areas where it looked like possible rust was starting, and I also grinded up a section that I thought there might be a crack, but luckily there was not. And I'm ready to install my new skid plates. All right, guys, we have to install the 6 rivets on each side that hold the side panels, and it's very simple. The locations are really easy. They're the only holes that are not lined up with an actual frame tube that goes across. So there's 2 here, there's 1 here, there's 2, and then there's another one between the first and second tube. All right, guys, this is the part that's gonna take forever, especially with the amount of holes that we gotta do. There's over 50 of them, so you gotta apply some pressure and do a twisting motion. And yeah, this is gonna take a long time. I'm gonna show you guys the easier way. All right, guys, now for the easy way. We're gonna use the tap on our drill. Now beware, a tap is usually made of really hard metal material and is very brittle, so it can easily crack and break. So what I'm gonna do is put the chuck on the rounded surface, not on the machine surface, on the rounded surface, so it allows it to slip if it happens to bind. So I've done this trick multiple times, including almost all the holes over there already, and it works great. But I will tell you to do this on your own penny. These can break, and I don't want you guys to be mad at me, but it does work. So let's try it on this hole right here. We're just gonna give it a full blast. If it binds, it will slip in the chuck to prevent it from breaking, which is great. See there, it binded, but if I go back, and go forward a couple times. And there it is. Sometimes they will go on the first hit. Some other ones will be a little tricky. You have to do it a couple times, but it's a lot easier than using a manual tap. Also, make sure you're wearing a long sleeve shirt because I just got burned on my arm. Also, use some safety glasses. You don't want the stuff getting in your eyes. It'll make you blind.
Just because I'm blind don't mean I'm dumb.
How could this have happened?
All right, guys, I think I got them all. I'm gonna sweep the floor. If I missed any, I mean, you still have access to get there with the tap and tap the hole. So, all right, guys, it looks like we're gonna have to install the very back piece first because of the way it's cut and designed, and then we'll follow with the rear center and the front center, and the very last will be the front piece for the bulkhead and for the frame in the front. That will be very last. So let's go ahead and start positioning some of these skid plates up. All right, so having a friend might help, but because there are multiple pieces, you should be able to do this by yourself. Just hold it up with either your leg, maybe your left arm, and with your right arm, you use the impact wrench and the supplied hardware and install everything. With the supplied bolts, they give you these washers that are gonna be flush or semi-flush against the skid plate, which is great because it's not gonna catch when you're going over the rocks. So we're gonna position the skid plate and we're gonna install these by hand. Let's see if this tap really worked. Go ahead and put all the hardware with the washers in position, but don't tighten down any of the hardware. You're gonna want to install the other skid plates, put everything in position, line up all the skid plates where you want them to be perfectly, and then we'll tighten everything down, starting probably from the center outwards. I'm not sure, probably doesn't matter. Just make sure you don't tighten this down because it does have a little bit of room to play with, and if you want the skid plates to meet up perfectly, you're gonna want to wait until they're all in place. Now I take back what I said, this is not semi-flush, this is very fully flush. I mean, there's nothing they can catch on there besides the lip of the skid itself, but I think it's pretty nice, and I'm happy that it's like that. So I'd rather catch on the skid versus the actual washer itself, because then it will actually rip off the bolt. So very nice design, again, from SSS. All right, guys, I don't think I gotta tell you, but the rest is pretty much self-explanatory. I think you guys get the gist. I gotta install these skid plates. I'm sure a lift would help a lot right now, but that wouldn't be realistic. Not everybody has a lift in their garage. I know I sure as hell don't. Guys, if you get the version with the built-in rock sliders, you are gonna have to fight these sides a little bit, as they do come pre-bent inwards just a little bit, as well as I did hit it with a mallet to pre-bend them inwards because I didn't want them to stick out. Once you have them installed and they are sticking out, it's gonna be a pain in the butt to get them to form in because it's gonna come in contact with the fender. Instead, when they're not on the machine, on the floor, you can hit them with a rubber mallet, bend them inwards as much as you can. Once you install them, yes, you might fight them just a little bit, but they will hug the sides a lot better than they would if you didn't. So just keep that in mind. So far so good. These two plates lined up perfectly. Can't wait to show you guys. They really did a good job designing this because, I mean, it's to the T. I'll show you guys after I'm done. All right, you might need help. I need help.
Later.
One thing I forgot to mention, you will encounter 6 locations where you're gonna have to drill out the hole and then tap the hole and then install the bolt and the washer where there's not an existing rivet that you may have drilled out. So you have to create your own hole. Same exact process, drill bit, tap, and then stick some bolts in there. So the front, I think, is where you're gonna get these longer 1-inch bolts, and that's because this plate actually forms to the bottom of the frame, has a little bit of a center section, and it's gonna form upwards. So you do need these longer bolts in order for that to work. All right, guys, it's all installed front to back, all bolted down, and torque down with the old impact wrench. I'm gonna show you guys the sides and how everything is fitted. On this side I had a little issue. The wrap was already kind of coming off, so I'm gonna have to re-wrap that section, but I do like how it looks from the side profile here, kind of like the factory XRC. Like for example, the 2020 XRC is orange, but it has, actually I think the skids are also orange. Not sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but it has skids that match in orange. Obviously these are black, but it's the same exact kind of look. I really do like that. I'm really happy with the way it looks and how it flows all the way to the back. So towards the front, we got something similar going on. It's also folded over here at the front of the skid, and it gives you a level of protection on the front edge up here and on the side here, or not the side, but also the front, but towards the side. So I do not like that there's a little bit of a hole there where mud and dirt is gonna get trapped, but hey, not a big deal. Just wash it out with the garden hose right there. So the other side is pretty much the same exact thing with the level of protection. So let me show you guys quickly the bottom and how everything sits flush. So this is the rear plate. Everything looks really nice. When the panels meet up, literally there is a tiny gap that you could probably just fit the head of a razor blade. It's really tight. The clearances are really nice. Same thing for the other centerpieces. I mean, what more can you ask for as far as the gaps go? So let's go to the front here. Of course, we have the SSS off-road logo here, engraved, CNC'd. And you can see the front skid, the fitment of it, again, very nice. Towards the very front, because my bumper has its own skid, I wasn't really able to install the 2 bolts that go over here. It's not that big of a deal because this one is holding it down. These bolts are pretty long and they go into the frame, so this is nice and tight. I'm very happy with that. While I'm down here, I want to show you guys something. These are the skids that came, or that I purchased with my HCR A-arms. These skids are also made by SSS Off-Road. That's how I caught wind of them. I asked Chris over at HCR, hey, who makes these skid plates? Because I know they outsourced them, and it turned out to be SSS Off-Road. And when I realized that, then I had to have the skid plates, because these are also very nice and precision cut. And what I mean by that, and let me show you guys, on the rear trailing arms. So on the rear skid plates, you can see how it's C-notched out, and the lines match perfectly up to the edge on the skid plate, all the way to the back. Even takes that curve, and it fits really perfect. So when I installed these on CJ's X3, I was like, man, these are really nice. Once I found out who made them, then I had to have the rear underbelly skid plate. So look at the lines, look how close it is. I mean, it's just perfect. And the same thing goes for the front. The front arms have a lot of curvature to them. There's a lot going on here, and it's the same exact thing. They have all these bends, they have all these cuts, and everything matches and contours to the A-arm perfectly. So SSS Off-Road definitely has some of the best skid plates on the market, and I'm gonna leave a link in the description so you guys go and check out the website. They have skid plates for multiple models. Now the skid plates for the A-arms, you probably won't find them there. You will find them on HCR's website because they are specific for the HCR A-arms. But like I said, amazing parts. Big shout out to them over there, and I'm way happy that I got new skid plates for my machine. See you guys in the next video. Stay dirty and peace out.